saying, but then I get the surprise of taxi bike across Paris. Awesome. This is the Globe Theatre London, which shows Shakespeare, and it's up there because I'm sort of obsessed with whenever we talk or present.
Can you go a bit louder, please?
Yeah, is that just closer?
Yeah.
What's the story we're telling? And I'm sort of a little bit obsessed with narrowing it down to these story archetypes that you may have heard of. You know, there have only ever been 7 stories. So what kind of story is it? I was thinking about what I wanted to talk about today, and it wasn't like The Quest or Rags to Riches or anything. It was like, what kind of thing is this? And then I read comedy, and I thought this is probably not going to be funny, but then comedy means, in the sort of Shakespearean thing, where you have, and then all things go a bit wrong, and they fall out, and then they kind of mature and come together. So I don't think it's Shakespearean in quality, but it's kind of got some of the themes of sort of youthful arrogance and hubris and maturity going on here. So, you're scared of your customers. I used to love saying this to big organisations that should be impressive, like the NHS. I say, you're all scared of your customers. You can't talk to them without either being scared that they'll tell you that they hate you, or not knowing what to do with the feedback they give you. So I think service design is a fantastic toolkit for actually taking that kind of fear and actually having a way of dealing with talking to customers or other people involved in the service and working with it in a way. And we all have that kind of a design process, and this is the new live work one. So design's fantastic when you need to understand people and to do it in a way that's productive and collaborative rather than our research department or just going out there and kind of getting hit in the face by we hate you, which is what you get in public consultations in the UK. If you go, you know, if I worked for a government, I wouldn't want to talk to customers because they tell you they hate you. But especially we found with young people, you get all sorts of possibilities of actually, as Shelley was talking about, designing together with people, and that toolkit is fantastic. Great. We also have a toolkit for imagining the future that lots of other people don't have, and visualizing, and we think in service design, I think in the community have this idea that services could be more collaborative, that they don't have to be us and them, provider, and you know, that tension and mistrust between organisations and the people they exist, therefore, we kind of idealistically think doesn't need to be there. So Livework came up with this insurance network that was like a peer-to-peer thing. Never happened, but it's a lovely. It's real because we made the billboard. It is funny. We're also got another fantastic tool, which is prototyping. This is from our team in Norway, testing a service for people with dementia and their families to keep in touch and to be more aware of what the care they're receiving. So this is incredibly valuable because it allows an organisation to try something and learn about it without getting too far down the line and spending lots of money and telling people that their jobs are going to have to change. And for people to experience something before. So this is our little script guide. This lady who's just been to visit somebody who she's caring for at home, and she's recording the visit so that her family know it's happening. And we are able to get very quick feedback. Again, lots of big organisations don't have that tool to do something quick. And then we can make sure that we guide the creation of something through to launch by keeping tabs on what the user experience, customer experience will be, and linking that up with the requirements to deliver it. And so this, I think, is the Livework version of a product specification that keeps pictures in there and keeps us, also keeps somewhere in here requirements from the customer, what needs, what's important, what needs to be achieved at this stage, but links it up with launch date. So I think it works. It's a fantastic toolkit, but we're a little bit, what's the word, hard to please and satisfy. So the falling out of love bit in the story is just a little bit of, is service design doing what we, 10 years ago when we started out, is it doing what we wanted to do? Is it achieving its potential? Could we do more? So I've got 4 more examples of work we've done where I think they're really brilliant, but they haven't done enough. This is, I think, design, customer research, gold. This was with a telecom company, and none of these people could achieve the thing that they went to the shop to achieve. So we got this and we thought, wow, they're going to listen to us today. This is awesome. And then they didn't. They were sort of like, why don't they change everything? This is obvious evidence of what's going on. And what's going on is, to do anything about this means all sorts of huge amounts of work that we didn't really understand. So the kind of inefficient understanding of the team wasn't the customer, but it was of the organisation. This is another thing that we're very proud of, because this is our first ever project for Orange, and we said, they told us lots of their customers, well, a small group of their customers are worth a lot of money to them, so we said, well, specific service to look after them, and take a whole load of tips from credit cards, and this went to market, so we first project, successful, something went forward. We've been working with Orange ever since, and they now have in-house service design, their chief exec. I said, this is a great thing, I want it in my organisation. But I talk to people and they say, what do you do? And they say, la, 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 la. Orange is one of our customers, has been for a long time. Are they any different to all the others in customer experience? So we've created some stuff, we've worked with them a lot, but have we created the organisation that stands out through its customer experience and its services? Hard to tell. This another fantastic Norwegian project with the claims department within an insurance company for travel claims, and just a wonderful story because the team found that when people make a claim, they're asked, first thing they're asked when the phone is answered is for their policy number or something very technocratic like that. And what they really need is someone to just listen to them and understand what context they're in and what's happened. And if that person does listen, as some smart people in the call centre do, then the call flows much better. There's a lot more empathy between the two parties. And the customer feedback and satisfaction afterwards is much higher. So we very simply can rewrite, this is the CRM system, put in a free text field that says the first thing you do is listen for a few minutes and keep some notes about what happened, what the accident theft was on this case, and it's helped to make that travel claims experience a lot better, and it could be a lot more effective. The problem here is, in terms of insufficient value, it's only a very small number of customers of this insurance company who actually make a claim. So when they look at, has this had a material business impact, it's negligible. So we can get very excited in terms of outside in looking at it from the customer and saying, this is really important, this is a really traumatic point in their lives, and the business kind of says, oh, okay, we could be nice, but it hasn't made us richer. And then another completely intelligible slide. This very recent work. Again, all these 4 I think are fun, they're things that I'm proud of. So this was with local government in the UK outside on the edge of London, and we're trying to rework the process or the experience of families when their child who has a learning difficulty, it's quite severe, becomes an adult and stops getting all the support that you get as a young person and has to enter, has to transfer from children's services basically to adult services who have less money. And it's the UK at the moment, and they all have less money at the moment. So we came up with a whole load of ways of working and a toolkit that I am very confident would work to help that transition be more effective. The idea was that you would identify things that that young person needed for adulthood earlier, set goals, and organise services around that. So when they did become an adult, they were better equipped. The problem here was insufficient proof on our part that this would save the government organisation money when they became an adult, which we hadn't been asked to do, but this is stalled right now because nobody's done it. So, as Jamin, you did hit it on ahead, we're scared of our customers. We're scared of their kind of messy organisations and all the barriers that they kind of throw up, and it's much easier to live outside in a customer world where you can imagine fantastic futures and you don't have to deal with all of their politics and their crazy processes, things like that. So we are kind of hitting that head on and saying, okay, we're going to stop being scared. We're going to start talking about something called business design, which is doing what we do within the organisation, so trying to complement the work that we do and address the organisation as well as the customer. And now I'm going to show you some really ugly slides that are this stuff in progress with the non-design guys that we're beginning to work with. So the first thing is to put what we do, the sort of service design thing, in a bigger context. You're looking at this part here, but from an organisation point of view, it sits alongside their product and their brand communications, and also a very interesting area of relationship, which is Shelley started to talk about this as well. But, in a lot of terms, it's the contractual, the actual customer-provider relationship, which has all that tension in it. But we need to realise that we've been kind of hiding out in that area and not really getting to grips with, at first, the customer experience, which is beyond the experience of that particular service. It's in a context of being a customer within an industry and having relationships and experiences in life and outside of that industry, and all of those things coming to bear. So if we say this is really important, is it important, or is it actually this company is doing just as well as their competitors, so there isn't an opportunity for them to make a big difference to the experience here? And then also to step right out, and we want to complement, I think, the design kind of research we do with a lot better understanding of what else is happening in the industry, what factors are coming to bear. These are all challenges that have come to us from our new business design colleague. So this is the organisation here. It means kind of going deeper, so deeper understanding when we're working. This is from a project we were suggesting quite simply that it was possible for me to start buying something in the shop and then take that half-made decision home and finish it online. So it was a simple channel shift, just one to the other, for an absolutely massive German telco, which didn't really prove to be the case. So this tool allows us to look at the kind of organisational side, and I think the approach is the same. It's about mapping and talking to people and kind of making it a bit more human, but also looking right down into things, policy, process, procedure. So this was work that actually allowed us to say, look, this won't happen because we're asking this guy in the shop to do some service when he's a sales guy, and his boss, who's the sales director, doesn't want anything to do with service because he's much a sales guy. So unless that changes, nothing's really going to change. And what I think is fantastic about this is service design has the toolkit for understanding the kind of experience flow, and this all maps underneath it, so we're able to relate experience to business and business decisions and impacts, which I haven't seen anywhere else. The second thing is for us to just be a lot more conscious of the impact. So before we get into this will be fantastic for experience, what's the thing that we're going to try and achieve? And does our client want it? So again, I think this is another telco case. They want to sell a new thing, and our work could make that more relevant, so we make sure we're having the conversation at the right time. We're suggesting that you could build a relationship with the customer by not just supporting them in their first use, but actually educating them, this sort of perfect start concept which you see now and again. Do they want to do that? Before we get into this is what it looks like, do they want to do that? They need to resolve any issues that come up. They don't want to follow up on that, they want it done in the first instance. So I think this is me beginning to understand what the strategy might be, and what are we trying to achieve. And then, when we talk about experience and being and designs making that relationship with the customer better, and therefore they might trust you more and they might stick with you and all that kind of good stuff, it's just the story at the moment. But can we actually show, this is the cycle, again this is telco, so you know, I have a contract and then I generally come to the end of it and I think, well, they weren't very nice, is there anyone better out there? And they have to whip me all the way back in with some offer. And at the same time, they're trying to sell me something else in the middle here. So can we actually show that this is possible to get a relationship? Does this make sense? It's all new stuff. So the next time they don't go back up to consider. I don't have to buy again. You get into this much more trusted, renewing mode, which means that all these organisations, I think you've probably all seen from your mobile phone provider, they want you to bank with them and they want you to run your health records through them or things like that. You're not going to do that if every month, every year, or every 18 months they're having to renew your contract with you. So I think we have a good argument there for that. Just need to start to prove that that's possible. And then finally, ugliest slide last. This is the only thing that LiveWorks done that's got us a meeting with 2 prime ministers in Norway and the UK. This was for our Back to Work project, which I presented here before, where we actually hired an economist to show that what we've done had made an impact over a prototype period. And again, the fantastic thing from a service design point of view is this was the customer journey back to work that we mapped and then organised the service around. And this is us saying, well, look, this number of people actually made 1 step, and that's worth X pounds, and it accrues to so-and-so department somewhere. So we ran a prototype for 6 months and proved that it saved twice what it cost. And Mr. Cameron was interested. So what, in very basic terms, I think we're adding a layer to the way we approach it and wanting to keep the design work, but also what are we trying to validate in our understanding? We prove the relevance of the concepts and the directions we take. When we test something, what are we testing? And when something's out there, can we monitor and improve it in life? So taking a bit more responsibility for the things, I guess, that our customers need in order to not be scared of making steps